Hi there, I'm Haley and we are here at Lake of the Ozarks to have an awesome time out on the water and to talk to you about something really important, wake awareness. You might already be familiar with the boating phrase, plowing speed. It's really important to get this right because plowing can cause a massive wake, making it difficult for others to operate safely and even damaging docks and shorelines. Here to talk to us about wake courtesy and give us his perspective is Sergeant White with Missouri State Highway Patrol.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
People think if they're going slow, then they're being safe and they're being helpful, but that's not necessarily true because plowing isn't a speed, right?
Sure, with the exception of no wake idle speed, plowing speed is pretty slow, but that's what causes the most damage to docks and causes most injuries. And when you have a lot of boats plowing throughout the lake, a lot of those wakes converge, and it causes a lot of damage and it causes a lot of injury year after year at this lake.
What kind of injuries result from the massive wake?
Well, in boats, there's no seat belts. So you have someone sitting on a seat and a boat strikes a large wake, that person gets thrown in the air, they come back and either land on the floor or on the seat, and that's where the emergency room here near at least Lake of the Ozarks sees a lot of those compression fractures or those back injuries as a result of a boat simply driving over a large wake.
So you have to go through a plow to get on plane, so you can't avoid it altogether.
You're exactly right. We just want to minimize that time that a boat is in that plowing stage. A good way to think about this is operational speed and transitional speed. No wake idle speed, that's an operational speed. On plane, that's operational speed. However, plowing, that's transitional, and you should only be there for a few moments.
So you idle, plow, on plane. Safely.
Exactly. We suggest that boat operators operate at idle speed, and then when it's safe to do so, get their boats up on plane.
How can you spot a boat that's plowing?
You can spot a boat that's plowing just by the amount of water that it's throwing from underneath its bow. When you're plowing through the water, you're not only creating a large wake, you're also reducing your visibility.
That makes a lot of sense because if you're plowing and your bow is up high, you're really going to have limited visibility. You can't see around your bow.
And it's a real problem for the larger vessels that we see, where sometimes visibility is difficult anyway because they have a large bow, and when it's further up in the air, it makes it even harder for the operator to see.
You couldn't see small things in front of you.
No, and that's one of the important safety aspects of being on the lake, is keeping a proper lookout. People have to remember that larger vessels may need to slow down to an idle speed when they're entering a cove or operating near docks, and sometimes that's in excess of that 100 feet. Causing harm to another person or their property may subject a person to either enforcement action or civil liability, so it's definitely something to think about.
I love to wake surf, to wakeboard, and the whole point is to throw a big wake and jump it and have fun. So how does that fit into wake courtesy?
Absolutely. We see more and more wake surfers on the water, and they are being pulled by boats that are designed to plow through the water and create a huge wake. And that's not a bad thing. That's what the sport's for. And we just ask that people pay attention to their wake. And oftentimes they know the letter of the law, which is 100 feet from a dock. Wake courtesy means it goes beyond the letter of the law. It goes to that courtesy stage where people are showing people respect to their docks and their property. And we don't want to stop anyone from having fun, but it definitely helps when people operate near the center of the lake and away from the boat docks during those activities.
And that's what's interesting about this whole thing, is that there's not a restriction that can be made that's going to make this situation better. It's going to be people monitoring themselves.
It's about respect and courtesy in the boating community. With the main channel, we understand there's going to be boats out there plowing, but what we're trying to do is work on those coves and make those safer, not only for the property owners, but also people that enjoy being in the coves and like the tranquility of the coves.
Sergeant White, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about this really important subject.
It was my pleasure.
And I know that you and the Marine Troopers have everybody's best interest at heart because you see everything out here.
We do.
And ultimately what I'm getting here is that it's up to all of us in the boating community to make sure that we operate responsibly so we have safe and enjoyable waterways.